Hey guys! Believe me, I know people can get pretty heated up about climate change. But really, how fitting is it that the first installment in my new Hot Topics series is climate change? It's almost like I planned that or something. Listen, I understand not wanting to believe that climate change is occurring. It's a really scary topic to deal with and think about, but it's a problem that's really worth solving. Ultimately though, probably a lot of you watching are skeptical about the fact that climate change is happening. I hope that this video clears up a lot of your burning questions. So let's just jump right into this. I noticed that starting conversations about climate change can be a real icebreaker. But when I do so, many people will argue that since there have been record low temperatures this year, that's proof that climate change is not occurring. So to start, let's establish something. Climate is not the same thing as weather. It can be exceedingly hot in one place in the world and incredibly cold in the next. Furthermore, the scientific definition of climate is the average weather in one area over a long period of time. So, in this case, the entire globe. So, when talking about climate change, scientists are referring to the continual constant averages of weather patterns over long periods of time. Another thing I hear a lot of the time is that the climate has always changed. And to that I say, you're right. The Earth does go through cooling and warming patterns. That's called climate oscillation. However, there's a huge difference between climate oscillation and post-Second Industrial Revolution climate change. Warming that is as rapid as what we have seen recently is not found in the global climate record, especially in things that we have gathered from the geological record. An immense majority of the data we have today proves that CO2 emissions are the leading cause of climate change right now. Speaking of our CO2 emissions, a lot of people like to claim that the amount of CO2 that we release into the atmosphere isn't that bad, or even that a rise in CO2 is a natural occurrence. Once again, unfortunately, this is untrue. Here's a nifty graph of our global carbon emissions over time, divided into types. Not great. For the sake of time, I'll link down in the description a more detailed explanation as to how we know that these emissions are influenced by humans and our technology rather than just them being natural occurrences. Another myth that falls along these lines is that the Earth is actually in a cooling period. Hey, Caitlin from the future here, just checking in to say, since I completely forgot to record something for this video, I need to insert this in, so to let you guys know that these next few slides that I'm going to show you are infographics made by NASA to demonstrate where on Earth the globe has warmed, as well as how large of a scale it has warmed. So, yay, context. While it's true that at times some parts of the Earth may show cooling more than others, this does not discount that on a global scale, the Earth is getting warmer. Not all of the areas on Earth will show the effects of climate change as fast as others, and that's completely natural. Therefore, this argument is not proof that global warming doesn't exist. And the last myth I'll be talking about is the idea that there's no general consensus among scientists that the Earth is warming. I see this one in particular getting shared around Facebook a whole lot, and it's kind of what inspired me to make this video. So, to clear things up, there is no doubt that there is a consensus that we have an effect on climate change. That climate change is far beyond natural conditions at this point. And most importantly, that there is a direct correlation with the amount of CO2 that is released into the atmosphere and the global temperature. These statements can be found in the description below, as can all other sources for this video. Certainly there are a select few who do not agree with the aforementioned statements, but if we're going to work for a better future for future generations, we can't just wait until everybody is in agreement. At the same time, however, we have to realize that there is a problem, and that this problem goes far, far beyond politics or business. Even if we're wrong about these things, we'll have proven to ourselves that we can all come together and work for the common good. But ultimately, there's no question that we have already seen the effects that climate change has influenced. Global temperature is rising, more climate-influenced extreme weather events are occurring, and snow and rainfall patterns are shifting. However, that's not to say that all hope we once had is lost to the winds, because nothing could be further from the truth. There is a chance that we are currently towing the line between irreversible damage and fixable damage, but that still means that we still have a chance to fix things. The EPA's CIRA project released a report back in 2015 estimating the benefits that would come from reducing GHGs and carbon emissions. In fact, it has also been proven that cutting emissions greatly reduces the expensive natural disasters that result from rising global temperatures. It has also been proven that cutting emissions greatly reduces the risk of many expensive natural disasters that come along with rising temperatures. But even though it's wonderful that many of these corporations are acknowledging the dangerous impact that high carbon emissions can have, we can't just leave it to the responsibility of these corporations to fight against climate change. We all have to work together as to not leave our children and grandchildren with unnecessary work that we could have solved ourselves. That's why things like the Paris Agreement, a deal made at the UN in which 194 countries signed a treaty to agree to cut emissions according to plan, and things like the Clean Power Plan are deeply important. Listen, it's gonna be difficult, but it isn't impossible. We used to think that things like sending a man to the moon was impossible, and yet we did it. I believe in humanity, and I think that we can get this done together. So, in the description, I have linked a great many things that you can check out if you want that kind of let you know what you can do to help out. Just remember, it doesn't rest only on your shoulders. There's a whole lot of us, and we're all working together. Thanks for watching. Stay cool. Okay, it's taken me 40 minutes to film this video, and my phone died in the middle of those 40 minutes, and I was freaking out because I thought it did not get it on camera, but it did. Oh, whew.